I hope you guys are having a great day so far. Let's go ahead and jump into it. So today I was thinking of doing a vlog style video, kind of unrelated to Pokemon, talking about my life, some stuff I'm experiencing and going through, including working, burnout, not with YouTube, more so just running the bar. It can definitely be overwhelming. I had a really tough night last night. But anyways, this was too juicy to ignore, so let's go ahead and get into it. Today's topic, we are talking about WhatNot, box breaks, and 151 demand. So let's go ahead and get into it. So lately, there's been a lot of ruckus. There's been a lot of controversy, hypocrisy, I guess some people could say, about various YouTubers, Pokemon YouTubers, joining the ranks of WhatNot, and people are upset about this and saying it's hypocritical and this, that, and the other. Now, I want to go ahead and just start this by saying that I was approved on WhatNot, I think a year ago, maybe longer than that ago, and I considered it. I went on the platform, I watched some auctions, I engaged with some of the sellers. I thought that it was a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie, I thought that it was a lot of fun. But it was something that I decided not to do because I wanted to focus on the platform that I was already on, Mercari, and then eventually I got onto eBay more seriously, starting to do auctions all the time. And I said, you know what, babe? Between the bar and you're fostering dogs, and we have a 2-year-old daughter, and we've got a lot going on. Or I guess at that time, 1.5-1-year-old daughter. But we had a lot going on. So I made a conscious decision that I'm already taking enough time to do YouTube videos. I don't need to be sitting and auctioning stuff live and hanging out with people just for the sake of making a little extra change, right? I'm already running a successful business. That's already profitable enough that it kind of pays for my, income, providing for both of me and Diana, I guess the three of us, me, Diana, and Aspen, with everything that we need, and allowing me to collect reasonably expensive items and high-end cards. I've been very happy with what I have going on in the bar. It's hard work, but it feels good. WhatNot was just something that just I wasn't really able to do it with the time that I had. So I kind of brushed that off. But in the last year, more and more people have been known on WhatNot for overcharging people overpaying, people that don't know any better, people that aren't even really into the hobby of collecting Pokemon cards effectively. They just want to be in auctions. It's just fun. It's almost like gambling. WhatNot has become this whole other thing, and it's been very lucrative for some people. Some people have made an absolute killing on it and are still making a killing. Some of those people are selling cards that are worth what they're selling it for, and other people are selling stuff way, way above what it's really worth. I actually had a good friend of mine trade me a card that he said he got on WhatNot, and he paid like $250 or something like that, some ridiculous amount of money. The card was worth maybe a little over half of that, so I felt bad for him. I traded the card with him anyways, but it did get me thinking, if this was a friend of mine that knows how into Pokemon I am, and they bought something off WhatNot, and they didn't even ask me, was this a good purchase? How many other people out there are just going on WhatNot and just going into these live auctions and overpaying out the butt for stuff? So anyways, that was interesting. And then came Collecticon here in Charlotte, where there was this one guy who was all blinged out, just like me. So I kind of gravitated towards him, but he wasn't ashamed of it, right? He was flashing all of his chains and his gold watch. I'm sure it was like a Rolex, which I have yet to wear mine on the channel. Not sure just how much bling I can get away with, right? Without looking like a total D-bag. But anyways, nice guy, totally nice guy. Got to talking with him. He was quickly, while I was talking with him, got swept up in other deals. But this dude was wheeling and dealing, and he was absolutely crushing it on WhatNot. Let me just make a point here that a lot of people want this hobby to be, a safe space, and, it's a great community, and there's so much going for it, and it's not all about the money. A lot of people in the last couple years, because of all of the popularity that's grown in this hobby, and how lucrative WhatNot is a live auction site, with kind of nothing else like it, I guess Drip would be, I'm hearing of drip, I'm seeing drip. I don't know what that is, but a lot of people are doing box breaks and streaming, and we're gonna talk about box breaks and kind of what that entails. Apart from, picking out certain creators and kind of talking down on them, because I don't really want to do that on this channel. You guys can do that research yourself. You can easily figure out who everybody is specifically talking about. That's not my goal on this channel. I don't really want to create beef, drama. I do want to share my opinion on the subject, and that's what I'm going to try and do as best and as respectfully as possible, because I think it's really easy to talk down on others behind a screen and make it seem informative, when the reality is that spreading negativity and spreading bad vibes and kind of bullying over the internet, it's a lot easier to do than doing good for people, right? Like, rarely people praise other channels, but all the time it's okay to kind of talk badly about a channel, trash a channel. People say poking fun. I think that's used loosely. I think people don't realize the impact you have when you talk poorly about a channel. It gets back to that person. They feel badly about themselves. And, a lot of times people probably just brush it off. I am not one of those people. So I can't imagine what it feels like when a lot of people in the hobby are talking about you or your channel and your demeanor and what motivates you, what incentivizes you. Is it all about the money? I want to back up there, because I know I go off on tangents, but what I was trying to say is more and more people are coming into this hobby, and it is becoming businesses. It's becoming side hustles. It's becoming money. So why would you not think that people are going to jump on the WhatNot train and join that bandwagon? All right. They're trying so hard. We had, was it Blake Griffin? Which, God, I think he joined the Panthers recently, which is unfortunate. But he was known, and Rattle talked about this. And again, I don't like saying channel names often. I already broke that rule by pointing him out. But, people are constantly on top of calling out, people that are doing wrong on these, on this platform, WhatNot. And I think that's great. I think it's great that sometimes we can have people say, yo, you're doing stuff that's fucked up. You're doing stuff that's wrong, that shouldn't be happening, and shame on you. Shame on you. I think, that's a good thing to have in the hobby, right? Policing the hobby a little bit. But when it gets to a point where I see a lot of content creators and I'm like, I don't like your content, or I think, you know what? You don't seem like, I don't feel like you really know what you're talking about, and you're preaching it to so many people. You're selling the idea, right? You're selling the idea. You're not really selling something that you're practicing. You have a couple things in your background. You might, like me, I have all these vintage booster boxes, but that doesn't mean that I'm buying vintage booster boxes. This is something that I enjoy. This is a part of my collection. I just like it. But I feel like a lot of people now, there's this thing, and I've even talked about this on this channel, about like creating your display and how it can be a great Pokemon YouTube background. And I'm starting to see that more regularly now. And it's kind of like, okay, wow, this person has a lot of sealed product. They must be the bee's knees. They must really know what they're talking about. And you just have to watch someone long enough to know that they've been in the hobby long enough, and they are knowledgeable about these things. But I feel like a lot of channels aren't that knowledgeable, and so the investment talk, that's all blowing up. People are getting more clicks on that, and so they're gravitating towards that easy content, because that is where the money is. And it's the same thing. WhatNot is no different, right? WhatNot is where the money is right now. That's where a lot of people are flocking to. So yeah, you might say, yeah, so-and-so only cares about the money, but if they're doing this full time, let's say, if they're doing YouTube full time and selling on eBay full time, yeah, they might consider WhatNot. So they're actually making some money. They might consider an outlet like that. That doesn't necessarily make them a bad person. That doesn't mean that they only care about money, but it does mean that they value their time, and maybe they value their time enough to go to the dark side, whatever we're gonna call that, over on WhatNot. I always thought WhatNot was kind of interesting. Just putting it out there. I never thought that it was like a place where the ultimate scammers were gonna be scamming masters, but that's not isolated to WhatNot, right? WhatNot, it's just more obvious because people are actually getting caught swapping stuff out on streams, right? So it has a really, really bad reputation. But I think if you have the right people in WhatNot, it could work really well. Now, this is not setting myself up so that when I join WhatNot, I can say, guys, I said WhatNot was interesting. You knew that I thought WhatNot was interesting. I am 99.9% sure. And I don't even care what you guys think about WhatNot, right? I just, if I wanted to do it, I would do it. But I'm 99.9% sure that I'll probably never do anything on WhatNot. Probably won't buy anything. Probably won't ever do anything on WhatNot. I've got enough stuff taking up my time. But I do wonder, what are these deals that people are getting that are poaching them to go to WhatNot? What kind of offers are people getting that's making them say, you know, I want to sit in front of people and actually engage with them while we're selling the card. Look at this beautiful shiny card. Hey, what's up, dude? I like to see you in the stream. Look at this beautiful shiny card. I mean, it doesn't seem all that luxurious to be a WhatNot streamer. It honestly doesn't seem all that great. It seems interesting. Would I want to do it long term? Absolutely not. I love making videos. I love making content. I love that I can give 15, 20, 30 minutes of my time to you guys, make a video, whether it contributes or not. It's something that I enjoy doing. I genuinely enjoy making videos. I don't even care whether they get traction or not. That's why I'm taking my channel also in another direction. I'm making kind of vlog style videos now because I want to branch out a little bit. You know, I like talking about stuff other than Pokemon too, but you know, when we're talking about WhatNot, it's understandable when people are so entrenched in this hobby and maybe not getting the most out of it, they might go to WhatNot, you know, especially when you have a massive following, you could dominate on a platform like that. So I think it's a little bit of a strategic move. Now, let's talk about the hypocrisy of that, right? Let's talk about people saying that, you know, box breaks and people that have been doing box breaks are, you know, they don't care. It's all about the money. Doesn't matter. Let's talk about the hypocrisy, and then we're going to talk about box breaks and how box breaks affect and change the market and what it does, good and bad, for the market, and the opportunities that it allows collectors and takes away from collectors at the same time. So in terms of the hypocrisy of it all, and people saying, you know, this isn't something that I would necessarily do, or this isn't something I'm interested in, guys, we're going to keep doing streams and we're going to stick it to YouTube. Like, I really care about the community. I want to give good advice. Sometimes grown adults just change their mind. Oh my God, mind blown. Grown adults change their mind, right? I'm not defending anybody. I get a little bit sick and tired of seeing not only the same types of content, and I even get on myself about that. I'm like, Orion, you need to switch up the type of content you're doing as well and try something different. Even if it hurts your channel, it is not worth selling your soul, right, to do the same types of content over and over again. It gets you subscribers very quickly, your channel grows very quickly, and you know what? My channel just isn't doing that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with my channel not having exponential growth, but I get to speak my mind on stuff 24/7, and that is well worth it to me than trying to pitch something all the time. But you know, just like seeing the redundant content, you know, unfolding, you know, on my homepage all the time, I also get sick and tired of people talking about other channels. I know that that's a part of content creation. I know that content creators in general talk about other content creators. It's one of the easiest ways to make content. It's literally, you don't even have to think about it. You just can say what someone else is doing wrong. You can focus on someone else. You can bring some negativity to it. And negativity really thrives, especially on social media. You know, saying that someone did something wrong or catching someone in the act, or, you know, saying someone's a hypocrite or immoral, that stuff really sells, right? Drama really sells. So I get that content is made. When it's really informative and non-judgmental, I think that can be a little bit more helpful. I'm not going to say who makes it more informative and who's a little more dramatic, but I don't like to see it. I don't like to see, like, our community be so fucking petty, right? Like, I hate when it's so petty that it's like, oh, so-and-so is joining WhatNot, like, they must have sold their soul. Like, it's like, okay, they joined WhatNot. Maybe they're not making enough in ad revenue. Maybe they're greedy. Maybe they want more. Maybe they're ambitious. Maybe they think they could change the way WhatNot works. Maybe they could be, you know, someone to represent WhatNot in a new light, right? Because I think Blake Griffin, for a while, was probably like one of the most known WhatNot streamers. Or maybe that's not even accurate, but that's just what we were focused on for a little bit there. And that was genuinely some bad stuff going on there. Some bad stuff going on there why, like, that was greed at its greatest level, right? You had somebody that was already making professional football money, and they have to scam people that are mostly average collectors in this community that they probably don't even make six-figure salaries. Like, oh, Ryan, why does it matter if they make six-figure salaries? Because they're wasting all of their money on WhatNot, right? It's okay if you've got money to blow, it's okay. But I feel like a lot of people that are on WhatNot, and this is maybe a part of the argument that it's like WhatNot is not good, is that a lot of people are overspending on WhatNot, and they come to trade nights and they go to conventions with all their WhatNot stuff that they overpaid for, and they realize that they're screwed, right? I think that's the sad part about all of it. But, you know, I like to think that if it's really entertaining and people really like the idea of kind of blending a stream and an auction together with your favorite person, I think that's kind of a cool concept. But again, I like YouTube. I like the safety of YouTube and the safety of, you know, the comfort that I have on eBay and the comfort that I have on Mercari. And I don't really want to give more of myself. You know, I'm already giving so much of myself to this community by making videos. You know, I'm already giving too much time to my business. I don't have more time to spread out. So that would not be something for me personally. For those of you that are wondering, what's your edge here, Ryan? Like, what's your angle? But yeah, WhatNot, you know, people are grown adults. They're going to change their mind. They're going to do the thing that they think is the easiest, the thing that makes the money, and they're going to chase that bag. And, you know, in some ways, you got to respect it. You got to respect the hustle. In other ways, you know, I think it's just WhatNot has such a bad reputation at this point that you don't really, in this space of being a Pokemon YouTuber, you really don't want to be associated with WhatNot. It's not a great association. But, you know, if you're a really good person and you're a wholesome person and you are kind of, you know, innocent, let's say, and you're not going to do any wrong, you're not going to fraud anybody, okay, you're going to make more money on WhatNot. People are going to buy your stuff for more because you're auctioning it and you're selling it and it's your name, and they're going to have that experience. That's the thing with WhatNot, is when someone buys something on WhatNot, they have the experience, I guess, of, you know, you selling them something, you know, like, oh my gosh, if I were on WhatNot, oh my gosh, Orion, you know, had that one stream where he was giving away some free cards, and he pulled this awesome card from a box break, and that was so cool, and that was such an iconic moment, and that's why I paid more for that card, right? I don't know the full mechanics of WhatNot, but I can understand maybe why people are drawn to it, because I've looked at it before just to get an idea of what it's like in the very, very beginning of WhatNot, or maybe shortly after WhatNot's inception. But okay, moving on, okay, the hypocrisy, the drama, whatever, I don't really care. I do think it's interesting how much other people really care about it, when, you know, people are able to make their own decisions. So I don't see what the problem is. But moving on from here, let's talk about box breaks. Let's talk about how box breaks kind of affect the market. So recently I saw a Skyridge box break, and I thought it was pretty cool because it allowed me to have the experience of seeing these cards opened, you know, recently, right? Like at this day and age, like to see a 20-year-old box open like Skyridge, that was amazing to me. And one of those packs was a Charizard, and I got to watch that card get pulled. That wouldn't have happened if they weren't doing a box break. That wouldn't have happened if they didn't have people paying for packs. That wouldn't have been an opportunity that I would be able to take part in, and maybe even someday do something like that. Because I don't know if I'm necessarily against the idea of box breaks. Sometimes I even get a little envious of like, damn, they're able to make that happen. But then I realize like, this is a box break. A ton of other people are paying for this. And in some ways, people pay an enormous price, an enormous increase on what the actual market prices are on packs, right? So this Skyridge box break that I witnessed, the packs were $1,600. Now, I don't know how much Skyridge packs normally are, but I have a feeling they're not $1,600. I have a feeling they're probably closer to $1,200, maybe $1,000. I don't know. I can't tell you the market on Skyridge packs right now, but $1,600 seemed very, very high to me. And I imagine a lot of the people that are in these box breaks are people that can really afford it. So already it's not really helping the average collector, because the average collector is not going to gamble $1,600 on a single pack of vintage cards, right? This is for people that are already in the upper echelon that see that a box is going to get broken regardless, and they're like, I'll buy a couple packs. You're going to break the box regardless. I can afford to go all in on it. Mine as well. Let's see what we can get. I'll buy a couple packs. And one of those people did buy, I think they bought like 7 or 8 of the Skyridge booster box packs, and one of them had a Charizard. So at least I think, right? I don't know if my brain can recollect every little detail perfectly, right? Okay, so bear with me. But you know, he did get a really amazing card, right? So that collector, I'm assuming, is a high-end collector. I think I know who it was that got the card. But that collector ended up getting, right, like a $12,000 card from a $1,600 pack because of a box break stream. So there, you know, the pros are that, you know, opportunities are there. All right, opportunities are there. You can find these cards without having to deal with someone scamming you on a fake booster box. You can get these cards without having to buy a full booster box on your own, which is really what I've done pretty much with my base set unlimited packs. I pretty much have been collecting all my own packs, which I've sold pretty much all of them at Collecticon, and the only ones I have left are my base set heavy packs, which we are going to open one of those at 5,000 subscribers. No one's going to pay to get in on that pack. These are my packs. I'm just opening them for fun on the channel, taking a massive loss financially probably on them, but might also find a nugget of gold. We might get a Charizard Unlimited that grades in a 10, and then boom, I've got all that value back on the packs. So hopefully that works out. But that's kind of another pro, is that you don't have to spend all this money trying to go into collecting certain product to get the one card you want. You could get one pack and gamble on it, but you can do the same thing on eBay. I think what I like about the box breaks in terms of these packs is that you're seeing the box opened up live on stream. You're seeing the packs open up. Everything is recorded, right? So there's a little bit more legitimacy, especially if the box has been verified, authenticated, you know. And then there's the other thing of like, how do you know the box? You know, when we go into the cons here, how do you know the box has been verified, authenticated? There's that risk. Is it worth, you know, paying that extra couple $100 on a pack because it's in a box break stream? And the other thing is what it does to the market. You know, one of the third big points is what it does to the market overall. How does it affect the market in large? Well, every time these boxes are broken, there's one less out there in the world, right? So, and I know it's like, okay, well, Orion, Pokemon booster boxes were meant to be broken, right? For all my friends out there that love ripping packs, packs were meant to be ripped. Boxes were meant to be broke. So this is kind of a natural thing that's going to happen that can't be stopped regardless, but it's already happening at an alarming rate on YouTube. People are opening tons of product on YouTube, but then you pair that with WhatNot, maybe drip streams, YouTubers doing box breaks and having people pay to get in on their box breaks. And now you have expedited greatly the amount of these boxes that are going to get cracked, right? And so there's less and less of these vintage boxes. Now, here's what gets interesting, right? It can be very beneficial to people that already own all of these boxes, right? So some names, well, I'm not going to say names, but for people in this hobby that already own all of these boxes, right? They already own all of the rarest products. Box breaks for them are kind of a good thing, right? Because one, they're sitting on their product that they're not planning on opening, right? If I put my mind in the head of a very high-end collector, which I've had the pleasure of talking to many recently, and more of you seem to be popping my inbox on Instagram, which is really, really cool because we have some fucking dope conversations on there that change the way I think and change the way that I make content. So I appreciate you guys. But, you know, if you put yourself in the mind of a high-end collector, you want to keep all of your collection sealed. You want to keep all of your vintage booster boxes on display. But you want to see that value rising. And one way to clip that. One way to artificially inflate, right? We don't edit. Everything I do is raw. So I'm gonna mess up. One way to artificially inflate the prices of these boxes is to have these box breaks, right? Now, I'm not saying that the box breaks are a conspiracy to raise the prices of booster boxes across the board. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that it's inevitable. If more and more people are opening these boxes and we're doing streams, and companies like WhatNot are even saying, like, I don't even know how it works, but if they're doing some kind of payout, like, hey, we're going to give you, you're going to have the lowest fees. If you join us, if you sign a contract, you'll have the lowest fees, and then we'll give you a bonus. I have no idea how this stuff works, so why it riles up people so much. But if there's incentive to keep opening stuff up, and they don't even care what they're paying for it because they're making so much on WhatNot or these other streaming services, these live auction services, platforms, then boxes are going to go up in price soon, right? Sooner than later. If this is the new wave, if this is how people are getting into stuff, if this is even what high-end collectors, right? Because that Skyridge box that got open, a high-end collector was bidding on that box. And for all we know, that collector already has that box sealed. And this is just a way for them to get in on a box break and not have the liability of cracking their own box. You know, the gamble of that and the losses from that. I would like to call myself an experienced collector, and as an experienced collector, I would say that I want to keep most of my booster boxes. Now, I don't have any vintage booster boxes sealed. I never did. I can't afford them, or if I could afford them, I would put it on my credit card and I'd be working it off for a couple months. This is why I'm mainly going for singles that I love, because I can afford that. But when it comes to modern, I do have a lot of booster boxes in modern, and that's why I kind of understand why people are making all the investment content, because modern has a lot of growth potential. And again, with all of these box breaks that people are doing, it goes into modern too. People are doing it with modern too, right? People want to go on the streams and get the bounties and whatever this stuff means. More and more, we're going to see these boxes get cracked. But what it does to the vintage market, because I'm mainly thinking on the vintage market, right? I'm thinking about boxes that are harder and harder to get, and what's going to happen to that market, right? How is it going to affect collectors long term that want to collect these kinds of boxes that are, you know, like grail boxes? You know, how is it going to affect their ability to collect these boxes? That's something that I worry about. You know, a base set unlimited box now is 13,000, maybe to 15,000, somewhere in that area. But after a year of streamers and openings and people constantly opening base set, what's going to happen to base set? Well, most likely base set is going to be less common. It's going to get auctioned on eBay or any other website less. It's going to be up for sale less, on PWCC less, on golden auctions less, if they even do stuff like that. I don't know. Just auction houses. They're going to have this stuff less. And then the price is going to trickle up. Not because of a boom, like the Pokemon boom that we had. Not because of Logan Paul. Not because of some celebrity, which could definitely happen in the future. It could happen again. Seems like a once-in-a-lifetime thing, but, you know, history repeats itself. So we might have another massive Pokemon boom. And then you pair the Pokemon boom with all the streaming and box breaks, and you have just a catastrophic recipe for prices just skyrocketing, right? This is great for the long-term collector who's already, you know, the high-end collector, or just the OGs who have all of these booster boxes sealed. This is great for them, especially the guy I talked about in my last video on Reddit, whose dad was a worker for WotC and had all these vintage booster boxes. If he just keeps those bad boys sealed, honestly, with everything going on and maybe another boom hype market again, you know, a big bubble again and a bullish run, those things could be worth twice as much. Like, just who knows, right? So I think we're going to start seeing a lot of vintage boxes that are very popular, that are too expensive for people to buy in one purchase, but are great for doing box breaks, right? When people come together and they do a $50,000 box or a $40,000 box, right? Because a lot of these WotC, and I apologize, WotC, Wizards of the Coast, 1999 to 2003, a lot of those era boxes are very expensive, right? We have a lot of boxes that are in the $10,000, $15,000 range, some below 10. We get $7,000 for probably a jungle unlimited, maybe $9,000 for a jungle first edition. They're honestly not that crazy for what they are. Honestly, for how old those products are, it's not that crazy. But then again, this is me comparing to what I've seen, which is just crazy pricing across the board to begin with. When I got into this hobby, boxes were expensive off the jump. So I've never really witnessed boxes for, you know, sub $1,000 prices like people talk about, you know, back in 2016, 2017, and how much the market environment changed. Guys, stop. I gotta stop you there. You're interrupting my video. My dogs constantly interrupt my video. I love you guys, and so does the channel, but we can only tolerate you so much. Okay, so box breaks, I think, are going to be detrimental to the hobby long term, and that's unfortunate because they do pose a lot of pros for people that are trying to get into stuff on a budget. Maybe open one pack and have it, you know, be authentic and not worry about getting scammed on eBay. With all the resealed packs out there, box breaks look like they're more comfortable to buy into than buying. Even if you get a deal, right? I buy a Skyridge pack instead of $1,600 for a box break. I get that Skyridge pack for $1,000 flat, or $1,200, $1,300 off eBay, right? I'm spending a lot of money still, but I don't have any guarantees. I am taking a big risk. I do think when you factor those things in, it is a reason why people like box breaks, because they're like, I see the box, it's legit, I trust this guy, it's been verified by his buddy up in wherever, and everything is legit there. So I'm going to pay a slight premium to get a pack right out of the box. But yeah, long term, I think box breaks, I think the sad part about it is that it's going to make boxes less attainable for everybody else. I'm not whining about it. It is what it is, right? Pokemon is super popular, and that's a good thing overall, right? I have a lot of money tied up in Pokemon. So I wouldn't even say tied up. I've thrown a lot of money into Pokemon, and I've enjoyed it. It's also been somewhat painful opening modern products, but I've enjoyed it thus far. And, you know, people complain about prices going higher on everything. You've got to remember, though, that it's all relative, right? Prices going higher means that your collectibles in those eras are going to be worth money. So with these box breaks, boxes are going to get broken. Less boxes are going to be out there. Less of those cards are going to be available. They're going to go to the people in the box breaks. Those cards should, in theory, also slightly rise in value, even though maybe more of them are flooding onto the market from these box breaks. Still, these boxes, given how expensive some of them are, like let's talk about, like there's first edition Neo boxes. Those are pretty expensive too. I would say Legendary Collection is one of the most expensive WotC boxes outside of like first edition base set. But even when you get 2003 to 2007 and you look at EX era, right? EX series era, some of those boxes, Team Rocket Returns, which is over here, damn, you can't even see it. But this guy right here, that's a $50,000 box, right? Like, you're not gonna, and this is just my empty box. I have a duplicate listed for sale, but you're not gonna spend 50 grand on that box if you're an average collector, but you might go in on a box break and spend 300, 400 on a pack. I don't know what packs that those are going for, but 300 or 400 on a pack of Team Rocket Returns, because it's your chance to get in on it. Right? But remember, those boxes are like 40, 50 grand. EX Deoxys, like 50 to 70 grand. These boxes are getting crazy expensive, and you're just not going to see them very often. But it definitely hurts, you know, in the long term overall. Trying to get these boxes, it's going to get more expensive. It's going to get harder to get them. That's something that I think about when I think about box breaks. I think like when I saw the Skyridge box break, my first thought was, how did you make this happen? It was a small channel that it was being opened up on, but then I realized everyone was pitching in and buying the packs, probably for somewhat of a premium to make the box work. I can't imagine why someone would take the risk of putting all that together to get nothing out of it. I'm sorry, guys. No one is going to spend unless they're the greatest person ever. They're not going to spend 50 grand on a box and then break it down, you know, by packs, by 36, and then give everybody a deal that's wholesale on the box. They're going to make something on that box. They're putting in the effort, they're putting in the time, they're sourcing it, all that stuff taken into account. You got to understand that box breaks are always, I feel like, going to be somewhat lucrative, and they're always going to be somewhat profitable. They might not even be that lucrative. They might just be a little profitable. You get your money back. You help some people out. You give them an opportunity. At the end of the day, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world if you're taking the leap of faith to open a box that expensive and give people the opportunity to be a part of that break. I think people like to hate on box breaks. myself included sometimes, because I'm jealous, I'm envious of them being able to open up something like that. I'm like, damn, I wish I could open up something like that. But I could. I would just have to buy it, then break it down, all the packs to everybody, and then, you know, upsell a little bit so that it's worth all that risk and pressure and stress of attaining, you know, acquiring something like that. I don't want to go through that mess. So if I don't want to go through that mess and it's not really worth it for me, then why would I get upset that somebody else is willing to take the chance and do stuff like that, right? That's their prerogative, right? Anyways, I think that it's going to be interesting down the road to see the prices of booster boxes, and if they do rise fairly fast from, you know, more of these box breaks and streams and whatnot. But overall, it's a sad thing. Whenever I see it, I'm like, damn, there's one less of that box out there in the world. If there's 1,000 Skyridge boxes out there, now there's 999. So, and it might seem like a lot, but when you think of the franchise strength of Pokemon and how its global reach and how crazy that is, how popular it is, whatever number of boxes are out there in Vintage, they're going to dry up soon. Mark my words on this. They're going to dry up soon. I don't know how many boxes are out there when I spit out numbers like, okay, if there's 1,000 Skyridge booster boxes, some people have the assumption that there's tens of thousands of these boxes out there still. I don't think that. I don't believe it based on how rare they are, based on how rare I ever see them get listed. And some people's argument is, well, Ryan, if there's a massive market boom again, people would definitely bring, you know, you would see all these boxes come out of the woodwork and you would start to see them getting flooded on the internet. I don't believe that. The fact of the matter to me is that these boxes are dwindling, and that anything vintage from 1999 English to 2007, it's going to be very scarce soon. Now, are these the worst of our problems? No, I think we should worry about water running out before we worry about Pokemon cards running out. But I'm just saying, in terms of this hobby and what's going on lately with the WhatNot drama and box break drama, you know, I think it's kind of, it's inevitable, right? It's something that's going to happen no matter what. And some people are going to make content doing that and they're going to thrive. And some people are going to be condemned for doing that. And it might be a bad idea. You know, joining WhatNot might not be a good idea for your reputation, and the messages you're trying to get out to people, and the way you represent yourself, right? People may respect you a lot less when you're doing something solely for the money, right? Solely for the gains and the bags. They might not respect you as much, but at the end of the day, like, people are going to do what's best for them regardless what others think. And I think that's really important for people to realize here, that these Pokemon YouTubers, they're grown men or women. They're going to make their own decisions streaming, you know, doing WhatNot, doing whatever. They're going to make their own decisions. So why are we fussing about it? Well, in my opinion, it makes really good content. It's just something that we can focus on, maybe because there's nothing else for us to focus on. But the crazy thing is, there's always more stuff to focus on. This hobby has a mind-blowing amount of stuff going on, cool stuff going on. Just the other day, I went on Reddit, and I am going to say this, I am going to point this out, because I like this YouTuber. Even though sometimes, you know, I think they fly a little too close to the sun, because I think they welcome things that they're going through to happen to them by the type of content they make. But, you know, an example of like just so much cool stuff going on, you know, that we might not even know about, is the huge Reddit find that I just did a video on 2 days ago. Somebody found all that stuff in their basement, and there may be more people out there, but it's just an example of like, there's really cool stories and information and news to divulge on that's out there in this community. And why are we focusing on what other content creators are doing in this community? There's so much other stuff that we could be focusing on. Good vibes, no bad vibes, no drama. I hate the drama. Okay. Last but not least, this video is pretty much over. I ranted for way too long. I want to talk about 151, okay? Because over and over again, people are like, 151 is super mainstream, printed to demand, super available, gonna be able to get it whenever, it's whatever. No, Wrong. It is extremely high demand. People love this set. People are continuing to buy this set. This set continuously sells out wherever it is. If it's MSRP or even close to it, and they're not trying to, get a couple more dollars, on, in other ways, slightly hike up the MSRP, charge a couple bucks for 2-day shipping. I don't know. But it was on Best Buy for a couple days, sold out. I literally got 3 bundles and it was sold out. Okay, now I went back the next day when I randomly decided, you know what? I'm going to pile on 151 because you know what? I don't care what other people think. I really like 151. I'm going to just do what my gut is telling me. Let's buy more 151. Plus, 151 is the most fun set we've ever opened on this channel. I honestly, I could open 151 endlessly, and I probably will, right? Like, if the next era, or if we don't get something in this era that's mind-blowing for me, I'm going to keep opening 151. I don't know how I'm going to afford it. The prices are getting higher. And again, 151 was so crazily opened up and still being opened up that I think the same thing's going to happen with 151. As soon as Pokemon stops printing to demand, 151, no more reprints, 151 is going to move like a rocket. I rarely say this about sets. I don't believe in it a lot of times. When we talk about all these other sets, there's a lot of good opportunities, but this is that Evolving Skies opportunity that we saw a couple years back with Sword and Shield that I'm like, why didn't I see that? The same thing is going through my head with 151. I'm like, why don't I see how much potential this set has? It is holding such good value. And every time it's on Best Buy or Target, because I went to Target shortly after, and Target was sold out too. You cannot get this set easily at MSRP. You cannot get it on TikTok anymore. For MSRP. You cannot get it on eBay for a decent price. Cases keep selling for $400. Do you realize how crazy that is for a booster bundle display case to go for $400? I mean, it's crazy because the set is so new. And this is why I haven't opened my booster bundle case, the only thing that I have left, because I have a mountain of 151 behind me of all these empty boxes and UPCs and ETBs. I'm keeping those sealed so I have something to hold on to that I can reference and be like, I told y'all this was going to be a great investment choice, a great set to hold on to. I don't even look at it really as an investment choice because that booster bundle display in there, I want to open that bad boy so bad. When a set is so much fun to open, that's where it's like investable, right? Like when you just like, somebody will pay me a premium to open this really awesome set down the road. That's like investment grade to me, the nostalgia factor of like, in 10 years, people are going to look back and 151 is going to be the best modern set we had in a very long time. Celebrations was great, but they had those stamps and it was mainly a reprint, right? 151 is so far from that. We get all these new arts. We get amazing products. We get an amazing special binder. Very specific binder. We have not gotten a set binder in a long time. I do want to point that out because I do think it's important that the 151 binder was the first mass-produced binder we had in a minute. On top of that, you had the poster collection, which everyone and their mom has in their game rooms, in their display rooms. I've got mine in here. I see them a lot on Pokemon YouTubers' backgrounds because it's a great little collector piece. The Ultra Premium Collection with all the Mew cards and the Mewtwo and the gold cards. There's just so much value in 151. I cannot stop saying that. But the end part of this video is not just a rant on how much I want to praise 151, but more so to say to you guys that like, yo, whoever is saying that there's plenty of 151 and you know exactly who you are, okay, that's not accurate. There's not plenty of MSRP 151. And, I didn't act quick enough. I'm a little bit salty. I should have ordered more from Best Buy. You guys know who you are. You sent me the link to Best Buy. You sent me the link to Target immediately. This was days ago. This was not like a week ago, right? It's not like this stuff sold out in a day, but when product is out of stock and unavailable on these massive retailer websites in a week, doesn't that tell you something about the set? I mean, think about that. Think about that. In all seriousness, like, wow, 1 week and you couldn't get this product. Now, there's been waves of this, right? Best Buy and Target will have 151 available. I hope they have it available. But here's the interesting part. we keep wanting to buy more of it. I keep wanting to buy more of it, I should say. And I put myself in the shoes of the average collector, and I think whether you're new to the hobby, coming back to it, everything that you've seen about this hobby, the most iconic characters, the most iconic Pokemon, they're the original 151 Pokemon. 151 is going to be a supreme set for years to come. I believe that. I've been saying it off the jump, and I'm still saying it now. Whether you're Japanese or English, it doesn't make a difference. I personally feel that the English is going to do better in the long run than the Japanese set. But then again, I don't have anything Japanese, so I don't feel qualified to talk on Japanese. But when it does come to Japanese, this is one of the only sets that I would honestly consider buying in Japanese because it's awesome. Because it has the Master Balls. Because it's essentially the same thing as English, but the quality on the art is so much better, right? Like, I'm not going to ignore the fact that Japanese art quality is better. If you don't know this already, definitely give Japanese a chance in terms of, buying singles. If you haven't gone down the whole rabbit hole of collecting and you haven't built up your collection fully yet, consider checking out Japanese cards. The quality is amazing. It's not my cup of tea, mainly because I've already collected so much stuff in English that there's no point for me to try and change directions now. But I would be lying if I said I wasn't considering buying some Japanese 151 if I could find a really good price on it. That's a product that I would sit on, that I would start my Japanese card collecting. And that would probably end up with me starting to buy more sets in Japanese. So I'm holding the brakes on buying anything Japanese because I'm afraid it's going to send me into a spiral of buying Japanese products. But I love Japanese cards, nothing against them. I'm just saying there's a lot of value in the English sets. The print quality wasn't as good, harder to grade these cards. They're awesome though. The set is awesome. It's the best English set we've had in a long time. And if it was a staple booster box set and it had a couple more SIRs in it, maybe just like 2 or 3 more SIRs in it, a couple more depictions of classic Pokemon, an illustration of Gyarados or something, or, an illustration of Mewtwo that was a part of the set. If they had kept Mew a part of the set, and it would have been way more valuable SIR. There's some things they could have done differently. If it wasn't a special set and it was a booster box, that could have been differently, but that wasn't going to happen because the whole thing of Scarlet Violet is this whole idea of past and future, right? So it really wouldn't have fit into that whole theme, and that's why I believe it's a special set. But man, if this was a regular booster box, I personally believe that 151 is better than anything we've had from Sun and Moon all the way to now. I mean, that's a long time, guys. From, I would say, 5 to 7 years, and maybe even longer than that, because if you look at the sets even before that, if we look at XY, I don't even feel like XY has a whole lot going for it. And if I look beyond that and go into black and white, diamond and pearl, I look all the way back to 2009 and I'm like, to be honest, 151 is a great set for any collector to come into this hobby on, because to be honest, if I look all the way back to my vintage sets that I love so much, and maybe that's why I'm super biased, because I'm comparing sets that we get today to sets that we had in the past and how much I like them and the simplicity and the cards in them. And 151 just smashes everything else. Like, nothing even comes close to 151, which sucks because, and I've said this before, I only have that one booster bundle display because I've opened everything that I have from 151. But I really, I don't have any product that I can talk about and try and pump. I love 151 so much. I know you guys are probably sick of hearing it, but I just wanted the end of this video to be about the demand and the fact that Best Buy cleared out and Target cleared out, and they're going to clear out again and again and again and again. There is never going to be a moment where Target and Best Buy have 151 sitting. Unlike Paradox Rift, unlike Paldean Fates, I think those sets will be sitting. I think they will be sitting. I'm already seeing them sitting. You go in and a blister does not cost that much more at Target. And I went with Diana the other day to Target, and there's racks of blisters of Palladian Fates just sitting. I mean, during the boom, everything went, but we're not in the boom anymore. But there's one set that's still selling out, that's still unavailable, that's still out of stock over and over, time and time again, and it's 151. Whoever in the hobby right now bought the most 151 possible, especially big distributors and resellers, you guys are crushing it right now. Crushing it. And you are going to crush it down the road. 151, even in Japanese, man, oof, I can't wait to see the trajectory of that set. Anyways, guys, 50 minutes. It's been way too long. I want to hear y'all's thoughts about everything, from drama of WhatNot and what you think about WhatNot as a whole, or even the people that are, that have been talked about joining WhatNot. I also want to hear what you guys think about box breaks. Are they a good thing? Are they a bad thing? Did they hurt the hobby? And then lastly, what are you guys thinking about 151? Are we going to get a massive big reprint? It's going to be available everywhere. Orion's wrong on this one. Or am I hitting the nail on the head here about 151? That it's just time and time again, it's going to become unavailable. It's going to get absorbed. This is exactly what happened with Evolving Skies. It got reprinted. It got dumped back on the market. Occasionally we see accessory or auxiliary products that have 151, and they pretty much still get absorbed. 151 is no different, in my opinion. No different. I literally have never, not one time other than when the set initially came out, and even then I didn't see booster bundles. I only saw ETBs. I have never seen 151 on any store shelf ever here in Charlotte. And when I went in person, for those of you that don't remember this video, when I went in person a couple days ago to Best Buy to see if I could get some stuff in person, if they had it back in the stock, they checked the whole city and there was nothing at any of the Best Buys. So this was only online. So I think they're ordering and selling as they go, and I think we'll see another wave of this. But the next waves that we get of 151, guys, please let me know. Please send me a message, DM me in the Discord, send me a message on Instagram, leave a comment on YouTube. Let me know that 151 is stocked in various places, because I am starting to pivot away from, I'm still focusing very hard on my collection goals, but I really don't want to stab myself in the back by ignoring 151. So if you guys find 151 for MSRP, let me know. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Peace out. It was a great video.